he's on the beach, lifeguards scream, "Everyone, get in the water!" This guy, he falls up the stairs. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? He hides his own Easter eggs. It's true. It's true. Asian women, we love our Asian women. Love our Asian Americans. They're scared of him on the road. Turkeys pardon him on Thanksgiving. It's true. It's true. He plays hide and seek by himself and manages to lose. You know that expression, the blind leading the blind? Well, the blind are leading him. It's very sad, very bad for our country. He is, without a doubt, the most illegitimate man in the world.
Wow, it definitely looks like the Dos Equis guy had better days. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudetsky here of WeAreChange.org, and today we have a plethora of absolutely crazy news to get into as we have the latest Twitter files to talk about, the latest controversy with Elon Musk and Twitter, and some new surprising developments, especially when it comes to the geopolitical situation and proxy war between the East and the West. Looks like the United States is going to have its own visitor. What's going to be happening here? What's going to be the larger ramifications of all of this, plus a lot more? Well, we're going to be talking about that here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by Machiavelli Memes on Twitter. And if you want to watch the full video, you definitely have to go check him out on Twitter. If he has a YouTube channel, we will definitely link it down in the description below. But his portrayal of the updated Dos Equis guy was pretty brilliant, really funny, and highlights the absurdity of our current modern political society, which absolutely deserves to be mocked. Unless, of course, the FBI doesn't like your jokes and then takes down your account. So far, the Machiavelli Memes is still here, and when he is definitely worth following. And we could probably follow him because of Elon Musk fighting against what is essentially the intelligence agencies of the United States that have been using Twitter for their own personal benefit with your tax dollars, censoring comedians, censoring satire sites, and more importantly, censoring political speech that they just didn't like. All, of course, as there was horrible people out there hurting children in unspeakable ways. That was, of course, ignored. What was prioritized was political censorship in this country. That censorship is finally getting pushed back by individuals like Elon Musk and also other individuals like the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, that have been making major moves against big tech social media, which is why I think now Elon Musk has come out and said that he will support the Florida governor if he decides to run for the presidency of the United States. Now, of course, major actions against the intelligence agencies usually means a big pushback by the intelligence agencies, as it's fair to say that there's been a lot of pressure on Elon Musk recently that just announced that he will be quitting as the CEO of Twitter as soon as he, quote, finds someone foolish enough to take the job. Who's going to be his replacement? How will Twitter be moving forward? Well, that's going to be a story that we're going to have to wait to see how it develops. This, as of course, there have been major stock and big money moves being made against his other companies, more particularly Tesla, that has seen a negative response in the stock market from the many onslaughts of attacks being made against Elon and all of his other companies. And while the intelligence agencies were looking to, of course, punish Elon Musk and anyone else who dared to question their narrative and agenda that was filled with lies, there was also a lot of other scammers that are getting away with just horrible crimes like Sam Bankman-Fried, that essentially was laundering billions of dollars from many private enterprises involved with, of course, the World Economic Forum, the Bank of Ukraine, and many politicians here in the United States that he was funneling money into. This, as many people suspect, that this whole FTX scandal has also something to do with the intelligence agencies. This, as Sam Bankman-Fried, now we're finding out, will most likely be transferred to the same jail where Jeffrey Epstein was sent to during his very untimely demise. I would say possible demise, since again, we still don't know exactly what happened here, and the government is lying through their teeth, as other people have been theorizing that this whole FTX scandal was a perfect way to set up a problem reaction solution Hegelian dialectic that will lead to more government intervention and control of our financial system. This, as today we have the Indian central bank head coming out and warning that cryptocurrencies could be responsible for the next global financial crisis that everyone is soon going to be dealing with. I see it more as a scapegoat to, of course, the very irresponsible spending that has been happening in Washington, D.C., as U.S. Senator Rand Paul just released a picture of the multi-page omnibus bill that the U.S. government wants to fast-track and approve, as of course the majority of people in our government haven't even read it because it would be impossible for them to do so. What are they passing? What are they voting on? Who knows? It's just another additional $1.7 trillion in anonymous spending by government bureaucrats, by politicians who didn't even read the bill. This, as Elon Musk even put up a poll on Twitter asking if Congress should approve this bill, with a majority of people, the nearly 3 million of them overwhelmingly saying no. This, as I believe Edward Snowden's take on the situation was very accurate, as he said, quote, "The worst people in politics from both parties have teamed up to demand Congress rubber stamp a 4,155-page blank check, many times the length of the Bible, a check for $1.7 trillion of your money, and they want it stamped before anyone can actually read it. Sounds legit." And again, what's in this bill? Who knows? We don't know. We're hearing one possible provision of this bill that will allow, quote, alleged family planning to be used against threats of biodiversity. Again, lots of Orwellian, totalitarian, big government intruding in your life. This, as of course the government loves spending your money and giving it to their friends. All of this as Americans are finding it more and more difficult living paycheck to paycheck, as we are being financially ruined by a federal government that is spending money that they don't have. And this is not just the beginning of it. They also want to give a lot more to Ukraine. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more in just a little bit. But before we get into the topic of what's happening with Ukraine, I wanted to remind everyone to sign up on LukeUncensored.com, as of course this is a way to keep this independent media organization up and running. Our YouTube channel, by the way, demonetized as soon as we release any kind of video out there. We're barely making any money here, as of course our views are skyrocketing, but our profits are going down. Our profits will continue to go down, as of course there's also going to be a major adpocalypse coming our way. And the best way to sustain this independent media organization was to support and to create our own platform, which we did on LukeUncensored.com, where we will be making new videos for you today that should be ready as soon as this video ends. And today we will be announcing the winner of our giveaway on the Luke Uncensored forum, where you get to talk to all of the many members involved in this platform, which is acting like our own little quasi-private secret society that's not really so secret, as we try to share the latest health tips, the latest things that we are doing in order to prepare ourselves for the insanity that soon will be coming our way. Again, today's video is going to be pretty important, to say the least, as also we're going to be talking about a lot of spicy topics that we can't discuss here on this particular broadcast, specifically also when it deals with things like testosterone. That video, plus a lot more. And the winner of our giveaway will all be announced later on today on LukeUncensored.com. You haven't signed up yet. What are you waiting for? It's quick, it's easy. Sign up right now just by entering your information. You get emailed your login details, and you go back to LukeUncensored.com and you click here to log in, and you're in. See you there right after the making of this video. And I think it's fair to say that the release of the Twitter files has been absolutely crazy with all the details that we've been finding out. The latest release was part 8 of this larger declassification of what's happening behind the scenes, detailing how the U.S. military has been running a covert psychological campaign with unsuspecting people on social media. This, as the U.S. Pentagon has been promising to shut down their larger PSYOPs effort against the American people, and their efforts are thriving more than ever. This, as the latest Twitter documents show specifically how the U.S. military influenced social media and how Twitter allowed the U.S. military in order to manipulate the platform as they wanted. And of course, as they saw fit. One of the biggest revelations was that the Pentagon's covert social media program was literally promoting the war in Yemen. Yemen, a place that of course is dealing with one of the worst humanitarian crises the world has ever seen, where the US-led Saudi coalition is literally running a bombing campaign and a war specifically on the Houthi rebels, which are tied in to Iran, that are mainly fighting Al-Qaeda rebels in Yemen. The United States, the Saudi Arabian coalition, is on the side of Al-Qaeda, and even according to the Associated Press, works with them hand in hand when it comes to this larger operation. So essentially, the U.S. Pentagon is taking your tax dollars and using it for PR for Al-Qaeda and Saudi Arabia, Sunni radical jihadists, when it comes to displacing and killing countless numbers of children and civilians in that country. Again, the war in Yemen needs to stop immediately, and it's the Pentagon using your tax dollars, making sure that it is prolonged. Well, why are they doing this? Well, because, let's be honest here, war is a racket, which brings us perfectly to our next story with Volodymyr Zelensky announcing that he will be making a special trip personally to the United States of America, visiting Congress for, quote, bilateral meetings, a meeting that Glenn Greenwald described to what essentially is a bigger money grab. This, as a couple moments ago, he said, quote, "Good morning. The U.S. Congress is about to send another $44 billion to Boeing, Raytheon, and the CIA for the war in Ukraine. That's a total of $100 billion sent by the United States in 10 months. The entire Russian military budget for the year is $65 billion. And of course, that's a lot of money. A lot of money, a lot of spending that is not being accounted for, that there is no bookkeeping for, that there is no transparency for. There's a lot of money dumped in a country that is known for being corrupted and, of course, taking money for themselves, and crony politicians that take advantage of the situation that they put their citizenry in. Again, an amendment by U.S. Senator Rand Paul that would call for oversight, that would call for at least the receipts to be seen, for transparency to be provided where the money and the arms was going to, was actually rejected by the U.S. Senate. This, as of course Congress is set to approve this additional $44 billion new deal, with Zelensky being in Congress when they do so. Before he even arrived, the Biden administration announced $1.8 billion in additional aid to Ukraine, specifically with Patriot battery systems. This, as Republican leadership has been cheering on these larger moves that greatly benefit the military-industrial complex while prolonging the war and making sure that it will almost never end. This, as U.S. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called for speeding up the deliveries of weapons to Ukraine. This, as Russia is responding to these latest meetings in Washington, D.C., saying that with them there's no chance of peace in Kiev after them. This, as the Russian military has just reached 1.5 million personnel, as the Russian government is vowing to win in Ukraine. As I predicted before, as the media was telling you, it was only going to be a 3-day campaign, that this was going to be a conflict that was one for the ages, one that is extremely dangerous, and one that could also last 10 years plus. The possibility of that happening is becoming more and more obvious. This, as some people just want to buy more weapons and blow people up, when in reality, we should be trying to do the opposite of that and not incentivizing the prolongment of something that endangers the entire world. We need de-escalation, we need diplomacy, we need less weapons, less bombs, but that's just my take. What do you think? What would you do in this particular situation? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys participating in this independent media organization, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. One more video coming your way right now, LukeUncensored.com. See you there.